All right, folks, welcome back inside the Journeymen Boxing Studios, another edition of Double Jab Radio. I'm your host, Rich Quinones. Don't forget to check us out online. Keep us locked in, journeymanboxing.com. You can follow me on Twitter, RichQ1Q. I told you later on in the show, Maureen Shea, the original $1 Million Baby, will join us, talk a little female boxing. There's a boatload of cards in Mexico this weekend. We mentioned a little bit regarding some of the amateur stuff going on in the country. We talked a little Southeast. We gave you some updates on the New York Daily News Golden Gloves. Now we're going to switch gears to the Garden State and Dan Doyle, president of the New Jersey Golden Gloves. They kick off this week, and I'm very excited about that. He's kind enough to join us for a couple moments on this edition of Double Jab Radio. And Dan, first and foremost, appreciate you hopping on board, and I know it's a real exciting yet busy time for you.
Yeah, hi, Rich. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's a big time of the year. We've had about 300 entries into a tournament this year, and these guys are raring and ready to go, and they kick off this Saturday night at Christian Brothers Academy over in Lincroft, New Jersey. And we'll run 10 shows this year with our finals coming up in Jersey City in late April 25th.
I love the fact that you mentioned you had so many participants, and look, we always know that no matter what, some boxers are just going to fall out of the wayside. So it's just sometimes fights are going to blow out. We've seen it on the pro level. We certainly see it on the amateur level. But have you guys been able to sustain those type of numbers for this year? And I guess it's helped you as you've grown exponentially over the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, you know, it's the kids are enthusiastic about the tournament again, and I think that's keeping a lot of them in there. Of course, you're always going to have guys who can't make the weight, or injuries, or other circumstances that come up. You know, you got to remember that these are young men.
Yep.
You know, and their lives change daily. You know, their priorities sometimes change. We hope we can keep them in the program long enough to develop them and give them some exposure and real taste of the sport.
I think it's great. I always believe this. I mean, look, the whole concept for what I do at the end of the day is to give a lot of these young boxers, these young boys and girls, the exposure that they deserve, they need, the recognition. And you mentioned it, the beauty of the amateur ranks and the Golden Gloves, whether it's New Jersey, PA, New York, wherever it is, all over the country, is that you get a glimpse at some great talent inside and outside the ring, but you're also maybe getting a little sneak preview of tomorrow's stars in boxing, and they're the ones that are going to keep the sport going for years to come.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's fun to watch these guys develop from little 8-, 9-year-olds to, you know, seeing them on Showtime. It's, you know, we've got a kid this weekend coming up. Julian Rodriguez is fighting Saturday night. He was New Jersey national champ, and, you know, around 2013, he won the National Golden Gloves. You know, he's a product of our program. And here he is. He's headlining on TV on Saturday night. You know, it's beautiful to watch him, you know, come right up through and hit the big time.
And you also mentioned you have a couple of returning champions. You also have some notable boxers. And look, we want to be fair. You know, you always want to give all the fighters some exposure, but are there maybe one or two, perhaps even three, that you can sit here and say, you know what, Rich, keep an eye on these guys going forward?
Oh, absolutely. We've got 3 kids in our program right now that we are really excited about. We've got a returning national champion, Leroy Davila, who is he's out of New Brunswick. He has been on the USA team for about 2 years now. They're always fighting for their spots on that squad. So, you know, he's going to be returning. We've got Michael Hilton, who's our heavyweight out of Trenton. This guy is he's actually clawing his way back to the U.S. squad. And then we have, coming out of the junior program, we've got a kid by the name of Shakur Stevenson.
Yep. Out
of Newark. Now this kid is something else. You want to talk about catching a glimpse of something before it happens? This is the kid. He's about 17 years old this year. He won gold medal at the Youth Olympics last year. He won the World Olympics, the World Championships, I'm sorry. And he has now stepped into the adult ranks, and you know, for the first time, and he's going to be testing himself against the adults in the New Jersey Golden Gloves tournament. I've
seen that kid fight a couple times, and one thing I'll say for a young kid, his jab is it's on another level. I mean, a kid his age shouldn't. Yeah, it should not be that good. But, you know, it's interesting because you mentioned Stevenson's going to box April 4th, but you also mentioned Leroy is going to be in that final bout in Jersey City. And I would imagine it's probably tough for this kid to get an opponent because he's such a threat in the ring.
Yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes when guys get to that level, it's tough to find them local work. We did have a kid step up from South Jersey. I think he actually won the junior, the under-19s this year. I think his last name is Price.
Oh, Dylan Price.
Yep.
Sure. His father's a promoter, a manager. Yeah, that's another kid that has a great background. I've called a bunch of his fights on television as well as online. Yeah, he's a special kid too. That's going to be a heck of a fight.
Oh, it's gonna. We are loaded this year with talent, and some of the battles that are about to go off are worth coming down to see. But the finals are definitely going to be where it's at. With Davila and Price, that's going to be one to watch.
As they say, worth the price of admission. Again, a couple minutes with Dan Doyle. Does a great job. President of the New Jersey Golden Gloves. They kick off this weekend, February 28th, 7 p.m., Christian Brothers Academy. You can check out the schedule online at njgoldengloves.com. And Dan's kind enough to join us for a couple moments this edition of Double Jab Radio. Again, inside the Journeymen Boxing Studios. I'm your host, Rich Quinones. Keep us locked in on journeymanboxing.com. Have you seen over the last couple years more participants in this tournament? Because everyone knows PA Golden Gloves. Everyone knows the New York Golden Gloves, and even down south with Texas and California, and even out in Denver, which is really huge. Have you seen more participation over the last several years?
Yeah, in the past couple of years since we've taken it over, we've taken great steps to try to promote it. We live in the shadows of New York and Philly, so those two kind of. But we're here. We're producing national champions. We've produced one every year since my partner and I, Jose Rosario, have taken over. One each year. Last year was Davila. The year before was Julian Rodriguez. So we got the kids in the program. We're rebuilding, and it's getting a little easier each year, but we're making progress.
Yeah, and the one thing I commend you guys is it's tough because you have to go out, you got to get the sponsorship, you got to get the advertisers, you got to get the participation from businesses, mom and pop, local businesses, even some national businesses at times, just to help get these kids where they need to be, not only for the tournament, but ultimately down the road if they go to Vegas, if they want shots at the Junior Olympics, the Olympic trials. So it's funding. I mean, everything costs money, and I know it's a 24/7 job, so for that, you should certainly be commended, you and your partner as well. And I'm curious too, Dan, the scoring in amateurs, I've been a big proponent of, I don't want to say I've been too outspoken on the scoring, but I've had my own opinions, my own thoughts on in PA and New York and the standing 8 there to protect the fighter. I like to see it almost get scored as a 10-8 to benefit the fighter. And I understand the cleaner shots, and I know they want to go to more of a pro scoring style. But with your open and your novice in New Jersey, is it different, the scoring, than it is in Pennsylvania and in New York?
Well, across the boards, we've adopted more of a pro-style scoring now. As of January 1st, it's official. We're going to 10-8 rounds.
Okay.
It's no longer, the pitter-patter style that you've seen over the past couple of years has been annihilated. They've done away with it. They've brought the power back into the game, and they're going to be 10-8 rounds now. 10-8, 10-7. So we're leaning more towards the pro side. So it's an easier transition for the guys who do want to go from the amateur ranks into the pros.
And listen, by no means it's great when that head snaps back. And I say it's great. I mean, when that head snaps back, it's there to protect the fighter. You have to treat that as if he's falling down, hitting the canvas, or if the ropes weren't there, they want to catch him. It's to protect the fighter. I like the fact, though, you are rewarding a fighter who's landing that shot. And the one thing I say about the Amis that's perfect is when you look at some of these great young fighters who are pros, who are body punchers, that's from the amateur ranks, because they are taught fight in the middle, work the angles, fight in a pocket, body, body, body. And I think it's going to make them a lot more comfortable, because I know sometimes boxers in certain areas. I talked to a couple young pros who were fighting out in San Antonio, out in Texas, and they were taught a certain way, how to work the system, how to get out, especially if it was not a pro scoring system, and it helped them. And then all of a sudden, because I believe they stopped doing certain things in 2012 in the Junior Olympics, as far as some aspects of scoring, a couple of them told me it hurt them going forward. But I like the fact that you guys adopted the pro scoring, because I think it's only going to benefit some of these fighters, as you alluded to, if or when they turn pro.
Yeah, I think we're going to see. It may take a year or two to bear some fruit, but I think you're going to see. And it's a much easier transition in the guys.
Yeah, and how do you, as far as, and it's good, hopefully the weather cooperates over the next couple of weeks, but you guys have a real nice layout as far as where you're going to be. It's straight through all the way to April 25th. That'll be at the Pershing Fieldhouse Finals in Jersey City. That's going to start at 7:30. Everyone always asks me, when an event starts at 7, does it start at 7? So I will ask you, El Presidente, if it's 7 p.m., is it starting at 7 p.m. for everyone that's going to come out February 28th?
We do our best. We do our best.
Spoken like a president.
There are always circumstances that can pop up. But for the most part, we do try to stick to the 7 p.m. start, or the 7:30 start, whatever is listed there. There are, again, we're dealing with people coming from all over the state, so we have to give them a little leeway here and there. So, we do apologize if every once in a while we run a little late, but we're always trying to maintain the clock.
Hey, from a guy like me, it doesn't bother me. I can sit there all day and just it doesn't matter how many fights you guys have. The one thing I know is no matter what, there's always competitive fights. I think the way everything is mapped out as far as the seating and the order. And look, I think the one thing that you guys really have to get credit for is when you're dealing with the amateurs, and it's tough because the parents are so involved. It's very hard, and I think you know where I'm going with this, to make everyone happy. So,
yes, absolutely.
Is it a nerve-wracking time when you're doing brackets and you're dealing with all these kids and you want to make it a fair and equal and level playing field?
Yeah, you want to give everybody the right competition.
Yeah.
The open bracket is obviously a draw.
Yep.
We do our novice bracket that way also. So we kind of stick to the draw. I know that some areas will match their boxers, but in Jersey we stick to a draw.
Good.
So this way it falls where it falls, and we put the onus on the coach. If it's not a good matchup for him and he knows that boxer, that's what he's there to protect his athlete from. There's nothing with tournament style play. There's really not much we can do. This is why you get the best of the best.
Yep.
This is what it's about. If you're a coach, you need to know the limitations of your athlete.
Yeah.
If he's not ready for this type of level of competition, then you're better off holding him back and developing him more and putting him in when he's ready.
No, it's a great point. Like Jimmy Valvano said years ago, survive in advance. That's all it is.
And that's what it is, And some kids need to be thrown in there. Some of them perform better that way. And again, that's up to the coach to know his athlete. We have some tremendous coaches in this state. I've worked with them all, national level, Olympic level coaches. They're always looking out for their kids, and I think they have a pretty good grasp of where their kids belong. I've had coaches call me up, after the draw and say, listen, we were going to give it a shot. We saw the way it came out. We're going to step back on this one. So
yeah.
That's fine. I don't have any problem with that.
Sure.
It's all about, I'd rather see these kids be safe and develop than hurt and gone.
No, it's a great point. I can't argue that. I agree wholeheartedly. Again, a couple minutes with Dan Doyle, president of the New Jersey Golden Gloves. They kick off this weekend, February 28th, Christian Brothers Academy. That is in Lincroft, New Jersey. And if you check out online, njgoldengloves.com, you can check out the schedule. Dan mentioned a couple of young fighters to keep an eye out for. Have you heard any talk going forward? And I know a couple of different areas through USA Boxing. I don't know about the Mid-Atlantic, but other regions, they might go to some fights in the future without any headgear. Is that? Have you heard? Can you speak to that? If you know, I don't want to put you on the spot.
Well, at the elite level is wearing no headgear.
Okay.
There is no headgear now at the elite level. Golden Gloves has erred on the side of safety. We will, at our national tournament and in this tournament, all our athletes will be wearing headgear. Good.
And last one before I let you get out of here. A couple of the guys that you mentioned, if you think of any others on the top of your head that are going to have a shot maybe to get to Vegas, and guys that you believe in a couple of years might be Olympians and pros.
Yeah, we got a hot race going on in the 152-pound open. We've got a kid named Mark Dawson from down in South Jersey there.
Yep.
And we've got a kid from right here at my gym, Salim Kelly. He's another one. The two of them met out at the under-19s. It was the only loss on Salim's record, on Kelly's record, was to this kid Dawson, who was a great boxer. And I think we're going to see a rematch of that in the finals at the 152-pound open in Jersey City. Those are two 17-year-old kids who really like to mix it up. Yeah,
I saw Dawson. I want to say I saw him fight this kid Jonathan Navarro, and that was last year. And I saw him. Man, he fought another kid, but I think he's a PA. He's a Philadelphia fighter.
He's out of Ficklerville, New Jersey.
Okay, all right.
He lives in Ficklerville, but because of the way that USA Boxing cuts up the territory,
got it.
He falls in that mid-Atlantic.
Okay.
And as Golden Gloves, our territory is statewide rather than LBC-wide.
Okay. And also, going back real quick to Stevenson, he was pretty close to taking Junior Olympic gold, right, a couple years ago?
He won.
I thought he won a Junior Olympic National Championship.
He won. Hold on. I'd have to review his career here. I don't know it off the top of my head. What did he win? He won the 2014 Youth World Championship.
Yep, you got it. Yep.
And then he won the 2014 Olympic Games. He was a gold medalist in the Youth Olympics.
I'll tell you, I'm excited to see this kid.
Yeah, he's been around. He started in 2012, starting piling up some hardware. And he's got some trinkets.
Yeah. As they say. Well, look, Dan, I know you're a little under the weather. I appreciate you fighting through like a true champion, and it was great to get you on board. We look forward to seeing you over the weekend, Journeyman Boxing, coming out and seeing all these young fighters. And again, for everyone out there, the schedule is up. It'll start the New Jersey Golden Gloves February 28th at we'll call around 7 p.m. at Christian Brothers Academy in Lincroft, New Jersey. Check them out online, njgoldengloves.com. And Dan, if you're doing anything with social media as well, if you want to plug that as well for the fans out there as well, for some of the young boxers who want to follow the NJ Golden Gloves, have at it.
Absolutely. We're on Facebook at NJ Golden Gloves on Facebook, and we have all our up-to-date bouts will be going on. We'll be doing some live coverage there with photos and results. So, check out the page, like it, and tell your friends. Come on down.
Dan, appreciate it, my friend. Look forward to seeing you over the weekend, and appreciate you jumping on board a couple of minutes on this edition of Double Jab Radio.
Thanks, Rich. Appreciate it.
All right, there you have it. Some good stuff with the president of the New Jersey Golden Gloves, Dan Doyle, and he does an excellent job. Really, these guys really work their tails off. Also, his partner, Jose Rosario. The New Jersey Golden Gloves begin Saturday. Journeyman Boxing will be on location. We'll be covering the event, taking some great video and photos as well. You can check out the schedule for all the slate of action on the New Jersey Golden Gloves. Just go to njgoldengloves.com. And again, just to give you guys an idea, and one more time, it's njgoldengloves.com. You've got a couple of returning champions. They have a very good layout with the tournament brackets, the upcoming events. Show number 1 this Saturday, February 28th, Christian Brothers Academy. That's 850 Newman Springs Road in Lincroft, New Jersey at 7 p.m. So Dan, with the good answer, said they love to start it at 7. If it happens, it happens. So have a little patience because there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Even between fights, all the fighters, as soon as they're done, they have to get checked out before the next fight starts. So I'm sure they'll try to move them in and out. And that will culminate with the April 25th finals at the Pershing Fieldhouse in Jersey City, New Jersey, April 25th. 7:30 p.m. So definitely lock us in on journeymanboxing.com. And, of course, Double Jab Radio will give you guys updates left and right for all the shows in February, March, and, of course, April. And we'll give you the slate of action as well, where some of the shows are going to be. So, again, good stuff with Dan Doyle, and those guys are doing a wonderful job with the New Jersey Golden Gloves. All right, folks, going to start wrapping it up. Another edition of Double Jab Radio live from the Journeymen Boxing Studios is in the books. And do not forget, we chopped up and broke down our interview with Maureen Shea. We had so much to talk about as far as female boxing. We talked about some of the title fights in Mexico with Jackie Nava, Melissa McMurrow this weekend, also the Tori Nelson fight coming up, as well as Angel Gladney and Jennifer Salinas. So a bunch of stuff that's happening in the world of female boxing. So we have part 1 and part 2. We'll also put it on JMB, Journeyman Boxing TV, on our Google page as well. You can just Google Rich Quinones, and you can check out the link right through journeymanboxing.com. All right, folks, I got to start wrapping it up. And as always, this edition of Double Jab Radio proudly sponsored by Casanova Boxing Gloves, our good friends Victory Boxing Gym in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, the Atlantic City Pal, one of our new sponsors and one of our new partners, Tri-City Boxing in Bridgeton, New Jersey, Cumberland County. Good stuff from them. We appreciate all the sponsors hopping on board. Everyone have a good night. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Double Jab Radio. As always, to our friends in Spain and Latin America listening to us worldwide online at journeymanboxing.com. Oh, mercy para nosotros, amigos que nos escuchan en España y América Latina. Gracias por tu tiempo. Please follow me on Twitter, RichQ on Q, as well as our exclusive photographer, Shade Shagoghi. That's Shagoghi, S-C-H-A-G-H-A-G-H-I on Twitter. Remember, it's not the destination, it's the journey you should enjoy. Later on, as we wrap up another week, we will talk about the slate of action going on. I've been down the East Coast on Friday's show. We will also give you more of a preview of what's going on in female boxing. We'll update you on the New York Daily News Golden Glove, the PA Golden Gloves right around the corner. And then, of course, starting over the weekend, we will keep you locked and loaded and updated on everything that's going on in the New Jersey Golden Gloves. All right, folks, thanks for joining us. We will talk to you tomorrow. Until then, have a good Boxing Thursday, and thanks for tuning in. We'll speak to you soon with another edition of Mas Double Jab Radio. As always, we'll see you next time, ringside.